Okay, all right. And we're live with another episode of BS Busters. No, the thing is that I downloaded a whole bunch of new software and I tried out Twitch on my PC, and a whole bunch of stuff went down, and it was just kind of an interesting situation. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to it. Without much ado, who wants to introduce themselves first? All right. Pinky, introduce yourself before you have to go get your breakfast or dinner. All right. That's okay. Jewel? The future. Well, the future is now because it's 2020. So the first little bit of news is GTA 5 is now on Xbox Game Pass. So if you have Xbox Game Pass, you can get GTA 5 on Xbox Game Pass. Yeah. I mean, it's not the best version of the game. The best version of GTA is on PC where you can get mods for it to make it more interesting. I mean, if you have a massive open world game, it's just better. Like those games are probably better on PC because you can add shit or just like make the UI better. Because trying to shoot people in GTA 5 with just a controller versus a mouse and keyboard, completely different. Um, so for those of you, Xbox Game Pass continues to pull down its pants and pay on Google Stadia. And it's a long it's one of those long it's one of those it's one of those urinations where it's long and like 30 seconds and there's nothing you can do. um yeah, it's like Austin Powers when he's like when they're like he's like liquid eliminate eliminate. Like it just keeps on going. Google did not think that. And here's the thing, Google has more money than Google is one of the most has some of the deepest coffers in terms of money. There is no reason for Google Stadia to have come out in the state that it came out in. But that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about that. So the other little bit of news is that CES is coming out is hitting next week. Yeah. Uh, no, my man. They're going to be talking about new CPUs coming out, which means graphic cards for the last gen. Those of you who are looking for 5700s and 5500s for your AMDs, it's going to be cheap. The prices are going to be dropping. Man, I don't care about that. I just want performance. Uh, and Intel's coming out with new desktop CPUs, so you know. I I guess so, man. I mean, let me put it this way. At this point, like AMD gives you more bang for your buck. Yeah, you don't get quite the performance as Nvidia, but your wallet doesn't get bent over and raped by Nvidia's graphic card prices. Yeah, it's forcing Intel to actually lower their prices, which is good because I like Intel CPUs, but those prices though. Well, the thing about Intel is that Intel's kind of like IBM was back in the day, where basically Intel's like really they haven't really innovated shit for like 10 years. They've just been trading off their name. But the thing is that Intel CPUs are really good. It's not like they're selling you an inferior product. It's just they haven't really had any competition, so they haven't had to innovate, you know? Yeah. Yeah. And also the pricing. Really, it's the pricing. It's the because but I mean in defense of Intel, they do have really good CPUs. I mean, it's like I can't, like if you have an Intel 7, that's a pretty good CPU. I mean they're coming out with the Intel 9. That's a pretty good CPU. It's like I can't I can't get mad at them. The problem is that there was no competition. Now that AMD is coming out with their Zens, with their Zen CPUs, you know, an x86 compatible with a smaller footprint in the motherboard. It's just, it's. I mean, if you're into it, look, if you're looking to upgrade your PC and you got it in the last year or 2 years, you know, there's some because their last gen shit, the prices are going to get cheaper for the new shit coming out. So now's the time to upgrade. And I mean, not yet, but it's coming up this year. So yeah. if you're into PC gaming or you want to get in, now's the time because you can get a last gen quality. You'll probably be able to get a last gen quality gaming PC for under $1,000 if it's pre-built, or you could build your own for like $600-$700, which is, I mean, some people say that's pricey, but if you build your own PC, you'll be able to play 70% of the shit that's on the PS, whatever Sony's next console is, and like 95% of the shit that's on Microsoft's next console. The only console that you won't be able to play their shit on, and like actually like 60% of the shit that's on Nintendo's console, since a lot of the shit that's coming to Nintendo's console is multi-plat anyway. So, you know. Yeah, but who gives a shit about ray tracing? The only people who give a shit about ray tracing are developers who are going to put it in their games. Most people's PCs aren't going to be able to handle it, and it's going to get disabled. You know, probably 2 or 3 grand. That's just the card. Then for all the shit you have to support that card, in order to make it run well, you're probably looking at a PC that, I mean, you're going to be spending $8,000 to $10,000. Why? Why? I don't get it. You know, I do not get the point. But some people are stupid. I don't know. I mean, some people are graphics whores. It's just like those people who really wanted. I went on PC gaming, and everyone like people downvoted my comment. I was like, yeah, I don't think virtual reality is going to be a thing, and I don't think it's a success. Because John Carmack himself said it wasn't a success, and they were like, "How do you don't know what you're talking about?" I'm like, "Look, you want to know when a technology is a success? When it's in every household. VCRs were a success. DVD was a success. Microwaves are a success because almost every household has a microwave. It would be odd, toilets, indoor plumbing is a success because almost every place has indoor plumbing in the civilized world. VR is not a success. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. It's an interesting gimmick, but it's not widely adopted. Okay, it's not like, oh my god, everybody has a VR headset in their house. No. So yeah, Yeah, because the Wii was kind of cheap. Here's the problem with VR. As far as people saying that VR is this big huge thing, problem with VR is this: is that first of all, like not all VR is equal. Um, it isn't. Not all VR is equal, and it's different for each for each experience. In order to have the best VR, you have to have really good hardware. And the thing is like, who wants to spend like you're looking at, if you want to have the best VR available, you have to spend between $1,500 to $2,500 on a good rig. Who wants to spend that type of money just to say, oh man, I can see really good in first person? Like, why? I don't get it. Um, and some people are gonna get mad about that, but it is what it is. Um, you know, they're not gonna like it, but it's. But it is what it is. Next, they're talking about. Let's see. Well, Nvidia is going to show off more overly expensive cards, obviously. Cards that you have to sell your firstborn child to afford. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, they think that desktops will finally move to DDR5 memory, which I guess will be good. More VR shit, more haptic feedback. Eh, I mean, we might hear some shit for gaming about it, but probably not. That's it. We might hear some, tangential gaming stuff from it, but that's about it. Um, I mean, sometimes at CES you hear some good stuff. Like we heard about Civilization, the latest Civilization last year from it, stuff like that. I mean, there's some good gaming news that'll come out of CES occasionally, but by and large, well, it's not really rare. It's just a minority of what CS is about. CS used to be about TVs, but the thing is like almost every TV in existence right now is HD. So everyone has an HD TV. So what's the point? You know, yeah, if you know where to go, if you can find a good price. Like what, 3 years ago the big thing was smart TVs, and then 3 years before that it was 3D TVs, and then 3 years before that it was plasma. No, it was LED. 3 years before that it was plasma. Like it's always, it's always some type of gimmick. And like here's the thing: most of the shit you see at these tech shows are gimmicks. They don't become mainstream. Like 90% of the shit doesn't become mainstream. And if it does get picked up, it becomes like industrialized mainstream, where it becomes something that's done behind the scenes, not a major mass commodity that's utilized by everyone. And people forget that. They think, oh, well, it's all of it. It's a big, huge thing. Not really. E3, well, I mean, the Consumer Electric Show does have some viable stuff, like knowing what memory is going to be coming out, learning about new hard drives, that type of stuff. If you own a computer or something electronic, there is some really good stuff like induction ovens and smart kitchens and shit like that. That's also at CES that has become a viable thing, but by and large, not really. Let's see what else. We have a topic here that was introduced by Pinky, where basically it's someone named Lumpy King. Lumpy the Comfy, Lumpy the Cook, whatever. And basically, it's 10 things to make Final Fantasy better. Uh, Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Some of these actually, actually, they're viable. They're viable. They're viable arguments. Yeah, that's the thing. Like here's the thing. Okay. Um, JRPGs, I would not use this as a template for all JRPGs, but Final Fantasy is definitely guilty of all of these. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't use this as a general guideline for all JRPG franchises, but Final Fantasy definitely is guilty of every single. Like, have memorable villains. Final Fantasy hasn't had memorable villains in years. Years! Like, if you put a gun to someone's head and said, who is the main villain of Final Fantasy 13? They couldn't tell you. Or 15. I couldn't tell you. I beat that game. I don't even remember what the fuck the story was. People know who Kefka is. People know who X-Death is. People know who, even though the final villain of Final Fantasy IV wasn't Golbez, it was the true evil or whatever. People can remember villains from all the classic Final Fantasies. People do not know who the fuck the villains are after the Hironobu Sakaguchi era. It's like, I don't remember it. And which leads to number 9. Stop introducing final bosses at the last minute. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Why? Why do you think? Well, I mean, Sin. Like, here's the thing. Sin's kind of like, because Sin wasn't even the main villain of that game, or he shouldn't have been. The main villain of that game was Seymour Guado, that piece of shit. Anyway, number 8, no. Well, Sin is basically one of the companions. One of the companions. Yeah, one of the companions of the main summoner in that game. It was Yuna. Like, I'm not gonna get into Final Fantasy X. The real main character of Final Fantasy X is Yuna, not Titus. The previous summoner, who was like, I think her father or mother or some shit like that, when they went on that journey with Oran and Jecht, Jecht basically wound up becoming Sen. Like, that's what he did in order to buy time for them to finally defeat Sen. Like, that was the, it's look, listen, Final Fantasy games have gotten more convoluted plot wise when they jumped from the 4th gen to the 5th gen, so I'm not gonna go into, but basically it makes sense if you follow the context of the what's going on in the game. Number 8, no more forced romances. Thank God. Please stop doing this. Stop trying to force with these ugly ass characters where the male characters look like women and the women characters by and large look mannish as fuck. Please stop. It's true. Like, Lightning does not look very feminine in Final Fantasy 13. She looks like a dude wearing a kilt. And it's a it's a problem for me because I'm playing a video game and I'm like, I can't tell if this is a man or a woman. And here's the thing, to be honest with you, I really don't care. If the game itself was good, you wouldn't care about the sex of the protagonist. But when your game is trash and then your characters aren't even attractive, I have no incentive to play this game. Yeah. Lightning, snow, ice, blitz, wind. I mean, shit. Yeah. Yeah. You have to go and you have to read a fucking. You have to go and read a fucking wiki to understand what's going on. Look, listen, if I have to watch an anime in order to understand the plot of a game or read a series of books in order to understand the plot of your game story sucks. Okay? Because here's the thing. No one here who played Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Lufia 2, Breath of Fire 2, even Phantasy Star games. No one had to read supplemental material in order to understand those fucking games. Stop. And here's the thing. Don't say, oh, well, well, those games were overly simplified. Modern games are more complex. Persona 5 doesn't need supplemental material in order to understand what's going on in that game. Xenoblade Chronicles X, you don't need supplemental material to understand what's going on in that game. It's your game's fucking... You're basically... Final Fantasy as it is right now is like when you were in high school and a kid would use overly wordy and verbose language on their research papers to make it seem like they were more intelligent than they were, when instead they could have just used normal plain speech and gotten the same point across. The paper would have been shorter, but it would have made more sense and easier to read. Okay, but whatever. Not really. I mean, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way, okay? Like this is the problem. This is the problem with Square Enix. Square Enix always underestimated their audience. It's the reason why we got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, because they were like, you're too dumb to understand RPGs. And even now, they're like, okay, we're going to use these overly complex names in order to name. It's like, why? Why? Just why? I don't. It's like, whoever's in your marketing, fucking fire them. Next, skip out on pointless cutscenes. I can agree with that. Yeah. Just, why? Why? There's some, you play Final Fantasy VII. There's some cutscenes in that game where it's like, this did not need to exist. This didn't need to be here. This was completely fucking useless. Why did you put this in the game? But Final Fantasy VII, I'll give them a pass on a lot of shit because it was new technology. With modern technology, it's just lazy. It's like, oh, we don't want to actually write anything that's meaningful dialogue or anything. We'll just do a FMV. That's basically what they're doing. Except it's CG now, not FMV. Eliminate separate battle screens. Okay, that's kind of like a template of classic Final Fantasy, so I'm not going to be like, I'm not like, this broke up. Yeah. Number 5, higher quality voice acting. All I'm going to say is this. Ha, 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 ha. That's Titus from Final Fantasy X. Ha, ha. Some of the worst voice acting I've ever seen. Here, I got one for you. I'm going to take out 6, eliminate separate battle screens, and replace it with something else. Stop trying to force characters down people's throats. Like you'll come out with a new Final Fantasy and you want to force a character down people's throats. People like who they like. Like in Japan, for the longest time it was Lightning. Man, Lightning's going to be the next thing. Man, look, listen, I've been to Japan about 6 times now. I'm probably going to go again this year. I've talked to numerous people, like friends that I've made in Japan. They don't like that bitch. You want to know who the 3 most popular characters in Japan for Final Fantasy are? I'll tell you. Okay. Number 1 is Cloud Strife, maybe tied with Terra from Final Fantasy VI. Then below that is maybe Tifa, or Sid or Cecil from Final Fantasy IV. That's it. Like, they don't give a shit about Lightning. They don't give a shit about Lightning. They really don't give a shit about Lightning. Like, seriously, if Lightning was on fire, if Lightning was a person and she was on fire in Japan, they'd pull out their cameras and take pictures of the shit. And they wouldn't even call for help. Like, oh, she burned up. Bitch got burnt up. That's all I gotta say. So, so number 4 is visible equipment changes. I could see that. Like, why is it that when characters equip new equipment, especially in modern Final Fantasies, in old Final Fantasy, I don't understand why you didn't have characters look different every time they equip something new. But okay, cool. Yeah, but now, I mean, look, if Xenoblade Chronicles X could have me equip different shit and it looked different on every character, why can't I wear different shit now? And I'm looking at you, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Why is it in a game on the Wii and the Wii U, I could equip shit and look different, and yet in this game, I'm wearing the same shit all the time? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, Monster Hunter does it, but there are other RPGs that have done it too. There's no excuse for it with the technology we have now that you can't have that. So the next one is better story writing, translations, and terminology, which leads back to Kanushi's thing. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. After Hironobu Sakaguchi left, the quality of Final Fantasy went into the toilet, and it's stayed there. It's not gotten any better. Basically after Hironobu Sakaguchi left, so 13, all three of those games, 15, like basically Final Fantasy after Hironobu Sakaguchi left has been trash. It's not been good. Like here's the thing. I'm not saying that Final Fantasy had the best stories during the Sakaguchi days, but they were. You can I can remember the plots of Final Fantasies 1 to 10 very easily. I can remember the plot of Final Fantasy 12. If you asked me to tell you the plot of Final Fantasy 13, and I beat that game, I played that game, I beat that game, I could not tell you. It was some shit with running around fighting monsters as with this chick who looked like a dude wearing a kilt. That's what I remember. Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 15. I played that game. I beat that game. And I'm gonna be honest with you. That game felt like I was going on. It felt like Noctis. That's the main character's name. It felt like this dude was going on a journey with this gay guy was going on a journey with his 3 gay friends for one final mega gay orgy before he had to get married. That's what it felt like. 'Cause yeah, that's what they called it. But here's the thing. I've been to bachelor parties, and I don't want to go to a bachelor party where all there are is just dudes. I'm just saying, I don't want to do that. Just nothing but dudes. Just it's just too many. Look, there's too many sausages in this room. Um, but which leads to number 2. Introduce characters with depth. I can agree with that. Like, I mean, say whatever you want to about old Final Fantasy. I mean, okay, the Final Fantasy 1 on the NES didn't really have characters. They were like templates. Final Fantasy 2 had characters, but I mean, if I was going to play that game, I'd tell you to play the re-release on the Game Boy Advance. Final Fantasy 3, once again, characters with like they were templates. But once you get to the 16-bit era, these characters had character. Final Fantasy 4 had a decent cast of characters that are memorable. You had Cecil, the Dark Knight, who actually who renounces his dark blade and becomes a paladin, a warrior of light. You have Kain, the tortured dragoon. You've got what's her name? Teresa, Tina, Teresa, Teresa. I think is her name. Yeah, Teresa, the white mage, who is Cecil's girlfriend. And Kane has a crush on her, and that's how he can get turned evil, whatever. It's kind of a convoluted love story between the two of them. But anyway, you've got, one of my personal favorite characters, Tella, the sage, who gave us the famous term, "You spoony bard." You've got that piece of shit Edward who ran away when his girlfriend was gonna die. You've got Porum and Palem, the magic twins. You've got Rydia, who initially is kind of a shitty summoner, but then becomes a badass summoner when she goes to the world of summons, ages like, I think, 10 or 15 years, comes back as a young lady, and she is one of the most badass characters in the entire goddamn game. Because she can do some badass summons once you power her up. You've got Yang. You've got Edge. I mean, you've got a large cast of really interesting characters. And then you've got Final Fantasy V. Well, I mean, you've got X-Death, or not X-Death. You've got Golbez, who's actually Cecil's brother, who is actually not the villain. He's been brainwashed. The real villain is inside of the moon. It's kind of a weird final boss. And then you've got Final Fantasy V, which only had 5 playable characters, but they go really in depth. You've got Butts / Bartz, you've got Galuf, you've got Lena, you've got Ferris. Ferris and Lena are sisters. Ferris, they were separated when they were young, and Ferris basically took up with pirates and hid her gender. Galuf dies about 2/3 of the way through the game, and his granddaughter Kara, takes his place. She gets all of his stats and all of his jobs, so it's like you lose Galuf, but you don't really lose all the progress you made with that character, so it's not that bad. 5 characters. The story isn't quite as epic as Final Fantasy IV, but it's still pretty good. But then you get Final Fantasy VI. Awesome characters. Every character in Final Fantasy VI is pretty damn good. Oh, you mean the Broken World when Kefka comes in and just says, "You're not gonna worship me? Well, fuck you then." That's basically what he does. He pulls a Rick James on that couch, except the couch is the world. Yeah, I grind my feet in this couch. Why'd you do that? Oh, I mean, they had money, they'd get another couch. But anyway, yeah. Final Fantasy has been shit for years. But anyway, the number one thing is that they can learn from the West. I agree. I'm not saying every Western, but Final Fantasy could definitely learn from... Well, I'm not saying every Western developer, but Final Fantasy as it is right now could definitely learn from Obsidian. Yeah, or CD. Well, I mean, because here's the thing: Final Fantasy games these days feel like It feels like the people who are making Final Fantasy don't like Final Fantasy. Like they don't like classic Final Fantasy, and because they don't like classic Final Fantasy, they want to change it. And the thing is that, like, if you don't like something, don't work on it. Go do something else. You know. I mean, it looks like it was made by people who didn't like Final Fantasy VII. That's what it feels like. It looks like, oh, I don't like this game, so I'm going to work on something I don't like. Why would you do that? No. No. I mean, how the fuck are you going to make a Final Fantasy VII and it doesn't have turn-based combat? I don't get that. I'm sorry. For that reason alone, I would not get this game. Like for that, just for that reason alone, I would not get this game because how the fuck are you gonna have Final Fantasy VII with no turn-based combat? That doesn't make any sense. That's like someone saying we're doing a Chrono Trigger remake. Oh, that's cool, but there's no turn-based combat. It's all live. It's all real-time action. It's like that doesn't sound like Chrono Trigger. How are you going to do the triple text? Yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. Which leads to the last thing. Basically, King Thrash Gaming did this documentary talking about how he believes that the Xbox One, if it doesn't do well with its integration with the cloud, Rafael Nadal, the new head of Microsoft, is going to cut it off. Yay or nay, you guys agree or disagree? Well, here's all you need to know. If you have any premonition about business or how money flows, basically the Xbox division has been around for, at this point, 1, 2, 3, going into 4 generations. It has not turned a profit in all of these generations. And at this point, it's just basically, it's like, think of it like this, okay? A business is like a body, and you had a part of your body that was not functioning, right? You've put medicine, you've gone to doctors, they've given you medicine, they've done injections, they've done all type of shit, but that part is not working, it's not functioning. So what do you got to do? There's only one thing left to do. Got to cut it off. That's basically what's going on with Nadal. He's like, I got this pinky finger, because basically for Microsoft, the amount of money that they've lost on the Xbox is like their pinky isn't working, but it's still a part of your body. Yeah, yeah. So at a certain point, you just got to be like, look, you got to go. I mean, personally speaking, I don't really care because for me, the Xbox was Microsoft never had the chops to really be in the console market. They came in with the wrong attitude. They came in with the wrong performance. It was just a series of bad decisions, you know? So it was just a big bundle of fail. Yeah. And I know some people are going to disagree. I know some people are going to be like, how could you say that about how could you say that about the Xbox? Look, I'm not saying that the Xbox is a terrible console. Well, I mean, personally, I don't think it's a good console, but well, almost every RPG that's released on the Xbox has flopped spectacularly. So, I mean, I'm not really surprised by that. Because like here's the problem with the Xbox. The problem with the Xbox is that Microsoft had a disconnect with certain markets. Like the Xbox bombed in Japan. Like I don't even know why they sold the Xbox in Japan because it bombed. It's like, why are you here? Like this is clearly not a market where you can compete. Um, because here's the thing: in Japan, like the Xbox is basically a shitty gaming PC. So anyone who's really interested in the games that are on the Xbox in Japan, they'll just have a gaming PC for it. Like, why would they get a Xbox when they could have a gaming and play the superior version of those games? If they want a console, they're gonna go with the PlayStation because it's a home. It's Sony is. I mean, they're more Western now, but back then, it's still like a Japanese staple in Japan. So I mean, it's like Microsoft had no realm in Japan. Europe is kind of Sony and Nintendo land right now. And America, I mean, like America is, I mean, I think they're still below Sony in America. So, I mean, there's no market where Microsoft has dominated. Not a single one. So what's the point of, the first, the sixth gen when the original Xbox came out, they didn't dominate. The seventh gen, they did well in America, but the Red Ring of Death fucked them up. And then, the eighth gen, we already know what happened, with Don Matrick. Microsoft kicked its own ass with the Xbox One. Yeah, some people will give you the narrative that Microsoft got its ass kicked by Sony. That's not true. Microsoft kicked its own ass during the Xbox One generation, especially when Don Matrick. We have a product for people like that. It's called the Xbox 360. And like when Jeff Keighley, he's like, I know you didn't just say that shit. That's like, and Don Metric, no, he fucked up. He's like, man, I fucked up on that one. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Yeah, you did, Don. You said that out loud. Yeah. Matter of fact, as my Bill Duke avatar says, they should have had Bill Duke pop up there and be like, you done fucked up, right? You done fucked up. And I mean, Microsoft, in my opinion, is already on their way to fucking up yet again because I mean, they're just releasing a series of mini gaming PCs. That's all the Xbox One S is. Or sorry, the Xbox Series X is. It's just a series of gaming PCs. Shitty little gaming PCs that lack the functionality of a real gaming PC. Because here's the thing. A real gaming PC, I can do other things besides game on it. I can do my taxes. I can check my businesses. I can do accounting. I can do a lot of other shit besides just gaming on it. It's flexible. Microsoft, all you can really do is just play games on it. And I know people are going to say, well, that's what game... Look, listen, okay. Technology has to move forward. That is a rule of technology, okay? Technology has to move forward. So, I know people will tell you, well, my Switch plays games, and that's all I want it for. Good for you, but guess what? Technology rolls forward, which means you have to expect more from technology as time goes forward, okay? I don't expect a car to only get 5 miles to a gallon like cars did 100 years ago. That's not acceptable, okay? I don't accept a car to only have AM like cars did 50 years ago. That's unacceptable, okay? Especially when, and I'm going to use Nintendo as an example, okay? It's not acceptable that the Switch just got Netflix a while ago when the Wii, the 3DS, the Wii U, all those systems had those types of apps that let you do those things. I'm gonna let you out a little secret. I watched Netflix on my 3DS. I did. I used to keep my 3DS next to my bedside, and I would watch Netflix on my 3DS. And I enjoyed it. It was great. Okay? No problem. All right? It's unacceptable that features are being stripped out as technology moves forward. I know people are going to say, well, it's just for playing games. Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's not, though. Oh, yeah. let's keep it real. Apple, this is the same company. Apple, this is the same company that eliminated the 3.5 millimeter jack because they wanted to sell you the earbuds that are like $150 and have fucking 2 hours worth of charge time, which is bullshit. Because I have Bluetooth headphones that I bought for like earbuds that I bought for like $20 that have like 4.5 hours of charge time. Like if you're paying $150 for Bluetooth earbuds, they should have a better charge time than 2 fucking hours. I'm sorry. That is some bullshit. You got fucked, and not in a good way. Okay. Yeah, it's some bullshit. Like Microsoft literally for you people who love Apple so much and you would like if Apple said suck my dick, you people would do it. Apple's fucking you and not in a good way. Okay? You got screwed. Um yeah. Yeah. But not even that. You should be able to open up the thing and at least blow it out so that it doesn't get, so it at least is, kind of, so you can at least clean it out. Yeah. Because that'll let your shit last a lot longer. Basically these things are made to fail. It's built-in obsolescence so that you'll upgrade at a certain period of time. So, I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired. I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of these people fucking people over in order to make money. Well, it's sick and tired of this shit, man. Yeah. Really, yeah, yeah, that is true. Well, the thing is that you shouldn't, like I said. I've said this before, and people get mad at me. But the thing is this: technology shouldn't be moving backwards. It should be moving forward. I don't expect to buy a new car for it to be less efficient than my last car. That doesn't make sense. And I know, look, I understand the business side of it. Nintendo, if the Switch was a failure, they didn't want to put a lot of money into it, right? Okay, because the Wii U scared them. I understand that, but you know, now that the Switch is really taken off, there's no excuse for it. Yeah, yeah. You could you could pause the game, open up the web browser, go to GameFAQs, be like, man, how the fuck do I beat this bug? Oh wait, that's how you do it. Okay, go back to the game. Man, I missed that web browser. That web browser was the bomb. That web browser was astonishingly good. What? No, that was Miiverse. And here's the thing, even Miiverse was charming in its own way. I have to here's the thing. I know a lot of people are like, well, I like that Nintendo opened it up. Have you seen the eShop now where you've got trash in there that shouldn't be on the eShop? I mean, you've got shit in the eShop where it's like, this really should not be here. It's like Sesame Street. One of these things isn't like the other. One of these things doesn't belong. Yeah, yeah. There's stuff on there that if Nintendo still had its like the kind of like its walled garden approach on their eShop, like they had during the Wii, during the Wii U era and the 3DS era, it wouldn't be on there, and I'd be okay with that. Cause here's the thing, okay? Nintendo's better than that. I've been used to for years and years and years Nintendo having a certain level of quality with their products that you just like I didn't have to worry about, man, I got to wade through this pile of shit. Like, I mean, look, the PlayStation is where you got to wade through a pile of shit to get to something good because the PlayStation has a huge library and inevitably there's going to be some shit. I didn't have to worry about that. Especially with the eShop on, yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, I hate to say this, but most of those sales that Nintendo has on their eShop, really? Like, I saw a game on sale in Nintendo eShop, then I saw it on sale on Steam for, like, on the eShop, they're like, it's on sale! It's normally $29.99, it's $19.99 on the eShop! And then I went on Steam and the same game was like $7.99. I'm like, you fucking assholes! That's not a fucking sale! No, no, I understand that. The thing is that they feel that the Nintendo crowd is like, well, this is all they've got. They feel like they've got their audience over the barrel, which is, and I mean, I like first of all, I don't like people. Look, I've said this before. I don't like people fucking me over. I don't like being taken advantage of. I damn sure don't like people taking advantage of me when it comes to my money. And I don't think it's okay because here's the thing, okay? Because I own multiple platforms to play games on, like I have the luxury of saying, "Oh, this is a sale," and then looking at it, "Oh no, they're trying to fuck me," and I can go someplace else and get a game if I don't already own it. But there are people who all they have is a Switch, and they get fucked, and they don't know they're getting fucked, and that pisses me off. I don't like people getting taken advantage of, and they don't know they're getting taken advantage of until after the fact. I don't like that. Um, I'm not cool with that. I don't like that. Uh, but that's just me. You know, if you like getting fucked, in a bad way, knock yourself out. But I don't. I go out of my way to not do that. But anyway, let's see. We've got some other news here. We covered. Oh yes, the rumors. The rumors. So here are the rumors. Now take this with a handful of salt. A handful of sea salt, maybe even Himalayan rock salt. I don't know. Whatever salt you like to use. Well, basically, I've been seeing numerous Nintendo-centric websites talking about Cirkin Toto, forgetting that Cirkin Toto has been wrong like 75% of the time for the last few years. So, except with shit that was obvious, that there's going to be a Switch Pro. So, who wants to go first with? Oh, never mind. I'm going to jump in first. Okay, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Well, you go ahead. I got to go get a soda. I got to go get a soda. You go ahead. Cirkin Toto. Cirkin Toto says that there's going to be a Switch Pro. I disagree. which they already did. They already released the new Switch with the longer battery life. Um, no, it's not the Switch Lite. They already released a new model of the Switch last year that is like it looks like this. It looks like the Switch that came out originally. It just has a better chip in it, which gives it longer battery life. That's it. It's that. Like it's not like a new thing. Like here's what I'm gonna say about Nintendo. At this point, the Switch is what, almost 3 years old. Yeah, it's almost 3 years old. Okay, so basically by the end of this year, it'll be almost 4 years old. Okay, so we're at the point now where you're getting to that 5 year mark where it's almost the end of the console generation. So by that point, I mean, you're going to see the Switch sales start to dwindle. So what's the point of putting money towards a new iteration of the Switch when they could take that money, because they're already working on the next console. They're already working on the next console. They could take that money. They could take that money and put it towards marketing for the next console, for their next gaming device, rather than put it out for new hardware. Which, here's the thing, okay? I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, okay? No developer on planet Earth has developed any game specifically for any of these more powerful iterations that came out for the other systems. Nobody. No developer released a game that was specifically designed from the ground up to work better on the Xbox One X or the PlayStation Pro. No one did that. You want to know why? Because those quote unquote more advanced, more powerful hardware iterations, they had the lower install base. Okay, even at the end of the Switch's life cycle, you want to know what's going to have the larger install base? The shittier versions of the Switch. The OG original and maybe the Lite, because it's cheaper. Well, it's probably not cheaper to develop for because it has to, like, and here's the thing, no matter what version, no matter what game comes out for the Switch, it has to be able to play on every single version. Why would you spec a game to play for? It's like why would a developer make a game that can only be best enjoyed on the new 3DS when the bigger install base was OG original 3DSs and 2DSs? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, but that was a first party game. That was a first party game. I'm not. I'm. It's like first party doesn't count because first party is designed to push the hardware. I'm talking about third parties, which are going to be the vast majority of games hitting the system are going to be third parties anyway, if the system is successful. So that doesn't make sense business wise. That doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? That's stupid. And Nintendo does a lot of weird shit, but I don't think they're stupid. I think higher of them than, oh, you're stupid. Um, it's dumb for someone to put their credibility on the line for a stupid prediction like that. Is what I'm saying. There's no reason for that. Okay, we're getting close to the 5 year mark. The Switch is probably going to be like the Wii, where basically towards the end of its life cycle, you're going to see it dwindling down. A lot of shitty releases. Maybe one or two big ones left, and then they're going to move on to the next hardware. Why would they release a Switch Pro when it's not gonna extend the life cycle of the console? Okay, it's not. Yeah, they say that all the time. They said that with the Wii. They said that with the Wii U. They said that with the Super Nintendo, and they do. And they do support their systems, but they're not going to be releasing major big games for that. It's going to be like it was with the Wii U to the Switch, where they're like one final big game and then the next hardware, because that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Okay. And here's the thing. Look, here's the thing. As a business, it would like okay. You do not talk about the next hardware while you're still trying to get your new hardware off the ground or it's still selling well, because you're going to tank that hardware. So they're not going to say, oh yeah, once this runs out, we're going to go with it, because people aren't going to want to invest in the hardware. That's business 101. But on the other hand of the spectrum, we're talking about the console industry, where as soon as the Switch came out, they were already working on the next hardware. That's just how it works in the console industry. That's just how it is. You work on the next iteration as soon as the old iteration is out. Um, so I mean, that's just how it is, And I mean, here's my guesstimation about Nintendo's next hardware. It's probably going to be backwards compatible with the Switch, so you'll be able to use your Switch cartridges because the Switch is very successful, and they want to get that crossover with people who bought the Switch to get the next console. Hopefully, in my estimation, I hope their next console is actually powerful enough to not have the coding issues that we had with some of the games on the Switch. Because I don't want to play a Nintendo first-party game that fucking crashes on me like Breath of the Wild did. Yes, Breath of the Wild on the Switch crashed on me twice. And here's the thing, I've never had, and Mario Odyssey stuttered several times for me. Um, it did for me. It did for me. So I mean, like you shouldn't have like. Here's the thing. Third parties, I don't expect much from them because they're fucking third parties, and they're trash anyway. But you know, like if a third party game runs well, I'm like, oh, that's cool. You ran well. But if they don't, I'm not like, oh my god, how dare they? But first party games running badly, I have a problem with that. Okay, or at least not to quote unquote Nintendo quality, which I expect more from them because typically speaking, they're pretty good. Um, so hopefully, they won't have first party games running poorly on the system. That's the thing. I've never seen it before until the Switch, really. On the NES, I didn't really see it. The SNES, I didn't really see it. The N64, I didn't see it. The GameCube, I didn't see it. The Wii, I didn't see it. The Wii U, I didn't see it. Only with the Switch did I see it. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. What the fuck happened with the Switch that made them release some games that weren't exactly perfectly optimized to run on the system. But no, I did not. Because I can't watch everyone's videos. I'll try and watch it later on, but can't watch everyone's shit all the time. It's but hopefully it'll be better. Like here's the thing, I understand that they were trying to get the thing out, and they had to, they were time crunch and all that shit. But you're better than this. Don't look. Listen, you learn your lesson this time. Don't do it again. It's like Nintendo is like a kid who normally gets A's and B's, and then they get like a D, and you're like, come on, you're better than this. That's basically how I feel. It's like you're better than this. You got to pass this time, but don't fuck up like that again. But any other news topics anyone wants to cover before we wrap things up? Got a little bit of time left. Any other newsworthy topics anyone wants to cover? Oh, that's right. That's right. We got to do our gaming predictions for 2020. So give us. We're gonna do three gaming predictions. Um, One for what we're gonna see from Xbox, from Microsoft Series X in 2020, the sex box, if you will. Uh, PlayStation's new hardware, which they're gonna announce this year. And I mean, we already kind of talked about that Nintendo's probably not going to be releasing a new quote unquote pro version of the Switch because that would be stupid. That'd be bad business sense, splitting their install base like that. But instead, make a prediction. Yeah, make a general gaming prediction of 2020. So who wants to go first? I'll let Kenoshi go since he's playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and he can get it out the way and then get back to his game. Go ahead, sir. That's an easy one. They promised so much shit and then they couldn't produce. Oh well. These consoles are going to be like a really hot chick that you're like, oh man, this woman's hot. Or for you ladies, I don't want to leave you out. It would be like you went on a date with a dude who looked like he was really well built. And you get him home and he pulls down his pants and it's like, bless your little heart. It's Pee-wee. Pee-wee pumpkins. Basically what I'm saying is that these consoles are going to be disappointing. They're going to overpromise and underdeliver. Just like they did last gen. They overpromise, underdeliver. That's why Nintendo gets so much credit, because they don't overpromise shit. Like, we're going to come out with a new console. There are going to be some games. Bye. That's it. No, I do think there are going to be some good games coming out this year, but they're going to be cross-generational, so they're not going to be optimized for anything. Okay. Always online DRM. What? That's what you're gonna say? Always online DRM. All right. All right. Well, I'm not going to bet you on that because you're probably right. If it's always online DRM, you're going to see the internet blow up implode in on itself. Okay, go ahead, Joel. Yeah, but at this point, I mean, I think the Ouya would do better than the Stadia. Um, that's bad. That's bad because Ouya's dead. I shouldn't have said that. Forgive me. Forgive me. Look, the Wii U did better than the Stadia. And the Wii U was Nintendo's most unsuccessful console, and it did better than the Stadia. So that's not really. And the Google has more money than Nintendo does. There's no excuse for it to come out that fucking bad. So next, I guess it's my turn. Yeah, it just keeps on fucking up. I mean, they pulled a Don Matrick. Like the Xbox One was a really seemed like a good console, and then Don Matrick came out and basically talked people out of wanting to buy that console. It's amazing. So I guess it's my turn. Here's my prediction. My console prediction about the sex box is that it's going to be announced, and it's going to just be a series of mini gaming PCs, essentially speaking. And yeah, Well, I mean, they said it's called the Series X, so it's going to be a series of boxes. Like, there's going to be a streaming box that's going to be for the cloud and streaming with like a hard drive in it. Then there's going to be one for physical media, and then there's probably going to be like an upgraded, like a quote unquote pro model. And I mean, here's what I think's going to happen with that. I think you're going to see a lot of the streaming version go because they want people to get XCloud and Game Pass and shit like that. I think you'll see a decent amount of the second base model go with the disk drive in it for games. I think the Pro model is going to be the least seller, and I think overall the Series X boxes will do okay, but not good enough to really save the Xbox brand. You're going to see the Xbox brand basically merge into xCloud, and it's just going to be that's going to be the Xbox. It's going to be a cloud-based service that you'll probably pay $100 a year for, or $150, and have access to all those games that come out. But it's not going to be a physical thing in the future. Not for this console gen, but in the future going forward. If the Xbox is still a thing, might not make it this generation. Who knows? With Sony's console, I think that I'll give you my best case scenario guess and my worst case scenario guess. My best case scenario guess is that their next console is going to be backwards compatible with the PS4. Probably, disc wise. I think that because the PS4 is basically a glorified mini gaming PC. I think they'll continue with that theme. I think that the PS5 is going to promise the moon, and I think ultimately it's not going to deliver any of that shit, or at least there's going to be asterisks next to all those numbers that people say. I think Sony's going to come out with something that's going to they're going to basically, the big thing with Sony and Microsoft is that they want to push these services because they want that recurring transaction model, so they're probably going to say, in order for you to utilize the full features of the PS5, you're going to need PlayStation Plus, and they're going to hint that it would be recommended that you also own PS Now. So you're looking at, let's see, what is it, $60 a year, $70 a year for PlayStation Plus, and I think it's like 100, like 50 or $60, $70 for PS Now. So basically, both of them want you to spend hundreds of dollars a year, at least over $100 a year, to access their services. That's what they want. That's what they want. That is the future of what they want. Okay. I think Nintendo with their next console might get in on that too, with having a service that they want you to pay for, like an exorbitant amount of money per year to have. I hope not, but probably. That was my best case scenario. My worst case scenario is that Sony's going to come out with a console that isn't backwards compatible physically with their hardware, but they're still going to push these shitty fucking services that they want you to spend an arm and a leg for. And these dumbasses are going to buy it because it's Sony. There you go. And as far as gaming goes, there are some good games coming out in 2020. There's Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know. I mean, like, here's the thing. CD Projekt Red hasn't fucked up yet. They've just gotten better with each game they've put out. Each major AAA game they've put out, they've gotten better. So I can't fault them. There's also Vampire the Masquerade coming out in April 2. Bloodlines 2. So, I mean, there's some good stuff coming out in the beginning of the year. So I can't get mad. If you own a gaming PC or another platform aside from Nintendo, there's some good shit coming out. If you own a Switch, I mean, the big news is, I guess later on this month they're coming out with the 5th Fighter announcement. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't played Smash Brothers since Halloween last year. So I'm thinking of selling it. Or I might actually, I probably won't sell it. I'll probably gift it to someone because I'm not playing that game. I'm not, you know, why have a game that you're not playing? You know. So I might give it to my cousin. He likes Smash Brothers. It's not bad. It's not bad if you're not playing something. Why have it? You know, if you're not playing something and you don't enjoy it, and you're not going back to it. Like the only time I turn it on is to download a new character. Like it's not like I'm, and even when I play it, it's not like I'm really enjoying playing Smash Brothers 5. I'm really not. I'm not like, oh my god, this is the best game I've ever played. I'm like, it's okay. You know, it's fine. You know, it's not terrible. It's just not. I mean, I think it's just kind of like certain things just kind of you know, like certain there's certain times where certain games just really get it, really are your yang. Like there was a period of time where I was in love with Phantasy Star Online. Like when I was in college, I lost so many. Like when I had free time and I didn't have to study, I'd spend 2-3 days playing um uh 2-3 days playing shit I forgot. I played 2 or 3 games playing Fantasy Star online. 2-3 days. And here's the thing: I played so much Fantasy Star Online that the timer that told you how much time you put into the game maxed out at 999 hours, 99 minutes, 99 seconds. I maxed out the amount of time I played that game. I played over 1,000 hours of that game. That's how much time I played a Fantasy Star Online. No, no. I mean, that's the reason why I'm not really all that impressed with Monster Hunter because I've already been down that road. Like, why would I do that again? You know, like I don't want to give that type of time to that shit again. You know, it's like I can't do it. You know, I don't have that type of time on my hands. Um, you know, well, I mean, as a business owner, I like. Here's the thing: if it was 5 years ago when I was first starting my business, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago when I was first getting off the ground, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is kind of a bitch. But I mean, I have the time now, but like, it's just I don't want to put that amount of time into something that's that addictive now. Like, if I'm gonna put that amount of time into something, I'm gonna play something like an RPG, like a straight up RPG or something like that. I'm not going to put it into an online game because you have to be online. You have to be connected to people. And Phantasy Star Online, I played it on the GameCube, so I wasn't online all the time. But when I was playing it. I mean, I played the shit out of Phantasy Star Online back in the day. Well, I mean, there is one RPG, one MMORPG I do play. Um, I occasionally play. Occasionally, I'll play. What's it called? Shit, I forgot the name of it. I'll occasionally play Guild Wars 2. But you know, Guild Wars is like you play a certain place and you don't have to pay for online shit. So you know, like you pay $39 or $40 or $50 or whatever, and you own the game and you can do whatever the hell you want, which I like. So, but that's just me. So, Let's see. Anyone have any other topics they want to bring up before we wrap things up? I hope so. I mean, I hope so because Sony is cruising for a bruising because they got real arrogant. They're like a kid when a kid fucks up. They're like a really little kid like pre kindergarten, and they're still at home, but they really should be in pre-K, and they do something that's all fucked up, and they show their parents, and they're like they're so proud of themselves. It's like, you fucked up. It's like, I drew a picture for you. You painted on the wall, you little motherfucker. But your parents can't say that. They got to be like, oh, that's cute. Let me clean this up. But in their head, they're like, this little son of a bitch. I hate you. What were you going to say, Dragon? Dragon, do you want to say anything? That's okay. I mean, if they're gonna release a new handheld, that would be a smart move because I don't like. Here's the thing: I don't think that the Switch is taking the place of their next handheld. If you get what I'm saying, um, I don't think it's a smart move to go all in on the. Because people who said that, I was like, that doesn't make sense. Because the Switch, while the Switch is a hybrid console, it's portable. You can take it places. It doesn't fulfill the niche that the 3DS did. Well, it's a hybrid console. It's a console that you can take places. But here's the thing: it pays the price for that. Like, the Switch pays the price for being a hybrid console because hardware-wise, it doesn't have the power of a dedicated console. And you can see that with games that are ported to the Switch because a lot of those ports are shit. I mean, I know. Look, listen. It depends how much of a downgrade are you willing to take to say that I can play this on the bus, or on the train, or in the back of my car when my parents are driving. Me personally, since I don't live with my parents and I own my own house and I have like a expensive gaming PC and a big ass HD TV in my gaming room, I don't want to take that type of downgrade when I'm playing games. I'm like, I don't like why. Like, why would I want to play a shitty version of this game that I could play a top-notch version on my PC or my other consoles? Doesn't make sense to me. No, it's not even a graphics thing. It's just there's certain games that have been ported to the Switch where you can clearly tell that there were a lot of sacrifices made to get it to run on the Switch. Yeah, with all the stuff, and it's still like $14 on GOG. Like, and here's the thing. Look, I have nothing against, like, because The Witcher 3 is kind of a special case because that's a really good game, and I think you should play it any way you can. But like Skyrim, okay, Skyrim, the version that's been ported to the Switch is the base vanilla version of Skyrim. You can't mod it. It has the same bugs and glitches that the vanilla version of Skyrim has on every other platform. Why would I want to play a version of Skyrim that I can't mod and fix? Because Bethesda was too goddamn lazy to fix it when they were developing it. Why? It doesn't make sense. It serves no purpose. Um, why would I take that hit? But yeah, Dragon. I think that Nintendo is going to release a new handheld. No, I don't think this. I don't think the Switch is their replacement for their handheld. I think they're going to do a separate device for their handheld. But that's just me. I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. Nintendo does need a third pillar, okay? Because right now they have the Switch and mobile. They need a third pillar because the 3DS, even though they're like, we're still supporting the 3DS. Look, the 3DS is, if it's not dead, it's on hospice care, okay? Well, I mean, I think they'll come out with versions of games that they'll put on their new handheld that, might be inspired by the mobile titles. I don't want those because if they're gonna come to the handheld like they were on mobile with those fucking egregious microtransactions, fuck those games. No, but but if they're gonna give versions like a new version of Mario Kart that maybe is inspired by the mobile game but doesn't have those microtransactions, like I don't mind paying $39.99 for a new Mario Kart game on a handheld. I don't mind paying like $20-$30 for a new Fire Emblem game that's like a classic version of Fire Emblem based off of Fire Emblem Heroes on a handheld. I have no problem with that. But if it's going to have those fucking microtransactions like they do in the mobile game, fuck those games. No. But, Nintendo, I think Nintendo's smart enough. As long as they don't have those egregious, aggressive microtransactions like they did on the Fire Emblem games on the 3DS, it'll be okay. You don't think they'll put more home console games on what? Well, I said this earlier. I said that it's the Switch is almost 3 years old at this point, and the Switch is getting to that point where the sales are probably going to go up a little bit more, and then they'll start dwindling down, and they're going to start preparing for their next home console. So at that point, I'm thinking that like no, I think you'll get one last big hurrah. What I'm thinking is, I think the big multi generation cross platform game for both the Switch and the next home console will probably be Metroid Prime 4. That'll probably be the big like blow your load. There you go. That'll be the big. How you like them apples game on the Switch. And that's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but it would make sense because, like, here's the thing: Metroid Prime has never been a huge seller, but it's a benchmark. It's a bellwether game. It's like Halo for the Xbox, you know, or Uncharted for the PlayStation. It's like one of those games that's like a template of the console, right? So it's you got to have it on there. So yeah, that's what I think. That's my own personal opinion. But I could be wrong. What do I know? I'm just some guy. You So, do you have any other comments, Dragon? Any other worries? Allow us to ease your mind, sir. If we can. If we can. Okay, go ahead. Do you think they're going to do a re-release of Gen 5? I mean, if you like Diamond and Pearl, like here's the way I look at it. I think that here's what I think is going to happen. This is my own personal opinion. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm going with. What I think is going to happen is I think Nintendo. I think what because the Pokemon Company and Nintendo are two distinctly different companies. Even though Nintendo I think owns like 10, 15, 20% of the Pokemon Company. What I think is going to happen is this. I think that the Pokemon Company, because the Pokemon Company has been doing some weird shit lately. What I think they're going to do is they'll probably release a updated version of Diamond and Pearl, or what they might do is what they did with Red and Blue, which is they did Pokemon X and Y, which were basically kind of like a bridge for people who were fans of Red and Blue, you know. I think they'll do that with Diamond and Pearl, which I wouldn't be against. Like they release a new game with new starters, but then you have a period where you can go and get those starters from Diamond and Pearl. Like they might do that. So, you know, it could happen. I mean, yeah. Like here's the thing. I'm kind of like I'm kind of done with Pokemon, so you know, I like because I'm not like ultra invested in it, I can take a more objective view about it because I don't have a dog in the fight. So, I mean, it could be that, it could be the other way. Who knows? Um, you know, uh, because I don't have a dog in the fight, it could go either way. I don't know. Personally, the way I look at it is, um, you know, I'm a fan of Pokemon. I'm a fan of what Pokemon used to be. And I mean, look, listen. If the Pokemon Company decides to celebrate some of their older titles, I'm cool with it. What they might just do is just do a digital re-release of yeah, they might just do that. Yeah, that's the thing. They might just do that. They might just do a re-release on the eShop. Yeah, but they might just do that. I mean, I don't mean it'll be on the I mean, they'll do it on the Switch where it's like, okay, here's Diamond and Pearl on the Switch, and they might do some like special thing where you get it and it comes with like some extra shit. But you know, it's look. Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight. It'll go either way. I don't know. I know, but they look, man. You never know. They might do that. They might not. I don't know. Like that's the thing. I'm merely throwing out the suggestion. I don't really like. Here's the thing. I don't give a shit. Look, here's the thing, man. Calm the fuck down, cause I don't give a shit either way. Okay, I really don't. But I'm merely putting out the suggestion that it could happen. Could not happen. They could, like I said, they could either do that. They could do a re-release, like a digital re-release with maybe upgraded graphics, like do it in the Pokemon X and not Pokemon Sword and Shield engine. They could. I mean, there's a lot of shit they could do. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not getting it either way. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you like it, knock yourself out. Me, I'm about, I'm Pokemon out. I've Well, let me put it this way. If the Switch is Nintendo's, okay, then if your question is about that, then we can talk about the business side of it. If the Switch is around 3 years old at this point, um, which means by the time that it'll be time to release Generation 9, typically speaking, the Switch will be towards the end of its life cycle, and they'll be worried about the next home console. So what the Pokemon Company might do if Nintendo releases a new handheld, because there's always a yeah. Can I finish before you cut me off, Pinky? Thank you. What I was about to say is, typically speaking, Nintendo's handheld, their handheld normally has the power of their last gen console. So the 3DS was as powerful as their GameCube. So um, the successor to the 3DS would probably be as powerful as like, I don't know, maybe the Switch slash Wii U. So, um, you know, I mean, they could easily take the engine from Sword and Shield and put it on the handheld. You know what I mean? Their next handheld, if they do in fact come out with a new handheld. Um, yeah, which is yeah, which is why I was gonna say that it would make more sense for the Pokemon. It would make more sense for Nintendo to put for the Pokemon Company to put the new generation on the new handheld versus on the old system. Even though the old system would have the bigger install base, because it would make the new handheld sell a lot. So what I think they would do is, I think instead of doing Generation 9, they'll probably do like a remake of an older generation. Yeah, or they might do that shit they did with Black and White 2, you know? That shit with Black and White 2, which I was not, or they might do Sword and Shield, like the third version of Sword and Shield, like a Pokemon Yellow Sword and Shield, where it's like, I don't know, armor. Sword and Shield. Oh, we got armor right here. It's not it's sword. Look, man, I don't care either way. I was just laying. I was, like I said, I was throwing out suggestions and options of what they could do, looking at past behaviors. Either way, I'm not buying it. So, whatever. Like I said, like here's the thing. It's a wonderful thing when you don't have a dog in the fight, because you aren't because you don't you aren't as fanatical about things, because it's like, yeah, well, it can go either way. Man, I don't give a shit about the fan base. I don't play games because of the fans. I play games because I enjoy them. And if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to apologize for not enjoying something. Yeah. It's like when I was a kid, I used to love eating gummy bears. And then one day I went to Atlantic City with my parents and I ate gummy bears and ice cream and pizza. Terrible combination, because I got sick and puked all over my mother. And even to this day, I don't want to eat gummy bears. I'm like, no, no. Like, if someone gave me gummy bears, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Get that shit away from me. Yeah. I mean, that's just life, You move on from shit, you know? Yeah. There's certain things I used to like a lot. Like, there's certain games I used to like. Like, I used to be a huge fan of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy now is like a franchise that I keep on giving it a chance, and it just keeps on disappointing me. you know? Yeah. It's like a couple that has split amicably. It's like, look, I can't go with you anymore, because you want a monogamous relationship, and I want an open relationship. We can't hang out anymore. So, bye. Or vice versa. You can't. Shit can't stay the same forever. Even though people may want that to be the case, it can't stay the same forever. And that's. Things have to evolve and change, and that doesn't mean that they have to change completely. Like, I don't want a car that has 8 wheels, and a joystick instead of a steering wheel. That'd be a little too far, but, it has to be recognizable, but not the same every time. But whatever. So anyone have anything else they want to say? Any other topics they want to bring up? Dragon, anything? Well, I saw your yeah, I saw that documentary where that guy just basically got raw about how the Xbox is like if they don't get their shit together, they're fucked. Which is what I've been saying for years now. I don't know why people keep on. I don't know why Xbox fans keep on pretending like that isn't a thing. Like, I keep on bringing it up. I'm like, yeah, if Microsoft doesn't get their shit together, they're fucked. Uh, they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You just being. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're fucked if they don't get their shit together. I'm reasonably certain. I'm not a. But that's just me. So anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up? No videos, no games you guys are playing that you're like, man, this game is Turok. Yeah, that's a good game. Basically, I have to be honest with you. Almost all the Acclaim shit in the 5th gen is really good. Like, like I mean, you could say that, but there's some good shit too. Like, okay, they did Extreme G, they did Turok, that's a licensed game. They did Shadow Man, that's a licensed game. That's a good licensed game. Like, Acclaim had some really good games in the 5th gen. Um, well, they re-released it on a lot of stuff, but the Switch is one of the platforms. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. The first Turok isn't really that good. I mean, it's good, but it's not. It's like, this is good. It could be better. The second Turok is a lot better than the first game. It's really good. Um, like, I would tell someone if they were gonna get Turok just to like skip that first one and go to the second one. But if you're a purist, you want to start from the beginning, so why not? But yeah, Turok, really good. I mean, you can't go wrong with those 5th gen Acclaim games. By and large, a lot of them are really good, like astonishingly good. Eh, I mean, whatever works for you. Um, Kanoshi, anything you want to pimp out? Any games you've been playing that you're like, man, this is really good? Really? I didn't know that. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, I heard it's made by the same studio that made Alan Wake, and it even has some Alan Wake uh, Easter eggs in it. Yeah. Well, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I'll take your word. I'll believe you. All right. Jewel, anything you want to pimp out? Nothing? All right. Pinky, well, Pinky already picked something out. Dragon, anything you want to pimp out? All right. Well, I'll guess I'll pimp out something. During the Steam sale, like getting drunk at a party and then waking up next to someone that you weren't expecting to go home with, I bought some games that I didn't think I would get, but they were cheap, so I got them. So I'm going to pimp out a game. This game is called Vestaria Saga 1, War of the Scions, and it is made by the guy who created the original Fire Emblem. That's right, the original Fire Emblem. Vestaria Saga 1. I hope he's 70 years old. I hope he stays alive so we can get the rest of this game. Because I haven't started playing it yet, but I mean, look, the guy's quality with all these other games has been good, so he's got a pretty good track record. So basically, it's like Fire Emblem, but like old school classic Fire Emblem. So permadeath. Uh, Man, how are you gonna sue a guy who created Fire Emblem for creating a game that's like Fire Emblem? That's just a douchey move. But I mean, they probably sued him. No, I don't think it is because this game is new. This game came out in 2016. But anyway, this guy, like basically, this game is essentially it's essentially Fire Emblem, but it's combined with Fire Emblem Gaiden. So there's like portions of the game where you go into dungeons and fight monsters and shit, which is interesting. Like I've always wanted that in Fire Emblem, because I get tired of the huge maps and you got to fight people and shit like that. So the game is essentially all types of cool shit going on. You've got like units and I mean, it's okay. I mean, I don't know why I'm trying to explain it. It's Fire Emblem, okay? If you've played a classic old school Fire Emblem, then this game is old school classic Fire Emblem. Although I don't think there's permanent death, but or maybe there is. I don't know, but what? That's what saves are for. That's what quick save is for. So you can. Oh man, I fucked up. Let me go back. We didn't have save states back in the day. We had to do it the old-fashioned way. So we had to do what we had to do. This is what Game Genie is for, my friends. Yeah, that would give you the secrets to how to beat it. So basically, yeah, that's what we got. Oh my God, they've got all the Sesame Streets from 1963 up to the current days on Amazon. Oh, I'm gonna lose my shit. Eh, I get to see my favorite Sesame Street Muppets. Yay! Yes, I have a. I look. I like puppets. Okay. Look, especially if they're Jim Henson workshop puppets. If they're no, I know I don't want to fuck puppets. I just like puppets. Okay. I grew up with Sesame Street puppets and Fraggle Rock and the Muppets. So I like that stuff. I like practical special effects. I like
Yeah, it would be great, but we're not going to get it. But anyway, if you go on Amazon, you can get a whole bunch of Sesame Street classic, old school Sesame Street stuff. And I love shit like that. So, for me, I'm like, man, I love this. Yeah, we are. So go ahead, give your guys your send offs, and we'll wrap things up. Come on, do it. Toonami. All right, Kenoshi. All right, all right, Dragon. 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 Fight Dragon. Dragon Ball Z. Okay, Jewel. Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, if you go to Twitter, you can reach me at Matthew Wesley at Mr. Red Fox 91, or you can also reach the channel via Gmail at Mr. Red Fox BS Buster at gmail.com. And if Copa and YouTube destroys my channel, I'll just move to Twitch. So, yeah, we'll make it. We'll make it. Either way, BS Busters will continue into 2020. So, with that being said, peace. Good night. I'm gonna steal this from Shadow Fox Infinite. Do you play games to have fun or to impress other people? I don't know about you. I play games to impress other people. Fuck having fun. With that being said, that's in the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace, good night, and that's correct. Hype responsibly. And I didn't hand